What's up, everybody? It's me, Johnny, and with me I've got DJ D and Farmer.
I'm awake.
Howdy.
He's awake.
I'm drinking Dr. Pepper. So
Farm was like, what should I do so that I don't fall asleep before the podcast? And I just sent him like a gif of a monster, energy drink. I'm like, there you go, dude.
Yeah. I decided not to go with an energy drink, but at least I have something.
And as we were just saying before we started, there's actually a lot to talk about that has happened in the last week. Some news, as to us recording it, is like very recent. So, but before we get into that, there's a couple of things I would like to cover. One, it was 4th of July weekend last weekend. Did everyone have a good 4th of July weekend?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
it was hot. It was hot.
I had a big party at my house, and it was supposed to be a Filipino party. Oh, I talked about it. I did end up going to a funeral that day at like 1 p.m. and our party started at 4, so it worked out fine. I invited a bunch of Filipinos from my church over. We were going to have a Filipino party. The only day that worked was July 4th. So then I was like, oh man, I should invite all these Americans. And then people started inviting.
Did you have red, white, and blue and everything at the same time?
Oh yeah, I hung up an American flag. I have an American flag that I hung up. And I ended up inviting like Japanese people in our neighborhood and some Japanese families from my daughter's kindergarten. If you guys wanted to guess how many people came to my house, could you each give me a number?
Oh man,
52.
Yeah, I was gonna say 50. 50 was my guess.
Not including my family, we had 63 people come over on Saturday.
Oh, I was close. Hey,
yeah,
Price is Right. I win.
David wins.
Which is crazy because I was only expecting 30.
That's pretty wild.
So
double expected. Is like, sorry, we ran out of food. You can leave now.
Well, I told everybody to bring food, so we didn't run out of food, but we did run out of paper plates and.
Oh, that's not a big deal. It's just
Yeah, we had regular plates and brought out our regular, like our actual chopsticks and such for the house, and we managed. But it was a lot of fun. And the other thing that is fresh enough that I'm actually going to double check. The USA was just knocked out of the World Cup, losing 4-1 to Belgium. That just happened.
Too bad.
Yep, Donald Trump calling and getting that red card rescinded
which is wild.
Fix the match.
But I mean, whatever.
My goodness,
it didn't happen. We still lost to Belgium, so the US is out of the World Cup, which is a kind of a I find it to be a big bummer.
Yeah, but
I find it to be a big bummer, but like if we had one, then there would be like it
would have been
everybody would be like, well, you only won because the president called and I guess he gets his way.
The worst thing that would have happened is if the US somehow won the World Cup this year for the first time ever, right? That would be like the actual worst thing to happen because it would have been a tainted win the whole time. But it's still sad. Is that all the positive news that we want to talk about? Because the rest of this podcast, we're 3 minutes in, and this is the peak, guys. It's all downhill from here.
Let's see. Well, I guess to cover what we did, I guess Saturday. So we went out to the boat. We went out to the lake Friday, and we jumped into the water. It was so hot, like we jumped to that water, and it was like bath water. So that was
oh my gosh,
interesting. Yeah. So. We were swimming, and I was out there swimming. I was talking to the kids. I'm like, this is kind of crazy when you're like swimming and you feel like you're still sweating.
Yeah.
Oh no,
that's insane.
No.
That does not sound pleasurable at all.
It was. I mean, at least we were wet. I mean, that's better than being out there. But man, it was so hot. Like you said, you stand on a piece of wood, like from the dock, and it was burning your feet, like the pavement.
Gosh.
Even worse, but we had a good time. Good time. And then
is it a big lake? Like,
can
you see across it?
Well, the way it's you can see across it because it's like the ridge of a hill, so it's like it's got a lot of nooks and crannies, really. And somebody was telling me that the coastline of Del Hollow has more coast than the coast of California. So it's interesting. Like if you added all this, all the footage up. But that's just because it reaches far and like it fingers out like all across like the Upper Cumberland here.
Mm.
So then,
Is it a natural? Is it a natural
no,
lake?
no. They dammed it up.
Okay.
Del Hollow Dam.
Cool.
So, yep. And then we did some fireworks. I did some fireworks with the kids. They enjoy that. It was Enix's first year of kind of like getting out there and helping us light fireworks and
Oh yeah. So much
dodging all
fun.
the shrapnel and we
Yeah.
had one that I didn't even realize happened, but we caught it on video when we went to watch the replay of it and everything. And I'm watching. I was like, "Holy cow, that was really close to me!" And I must have turned around and not seen it, but it had like hit the tree real close and then shot down at the road and exploded. I didn't
Oh
see
my
that when I was
gosh.
out there, but there's always a close encounter.
Right. There's always one that you're like, oh, whoops, we're okay.
Hey, but we survived another year with all our fingers and eyes.
Yeah. Perfect. And Dee, did you do anything special for 4th of July weekend? Did you celebrate the United States in a special way?
Oh, I mean, I worked, but that was about it. What is more
Honestly,
American than that?
the most American thing, am I right, is to work
Capitalism.
on a holiday.
But I mean, I did also, spend money. So I mean, like, there's that too. I bought the
Even
new
more American.
Arc DLC, the ocean stuff and everything.
Nice.
So pretty excited about that. Yeah.
I don't know actually what you're talking about. You talked about it, and then Logan talked about it, and I am not fully aware of what the new DLC is.
There's a new
released
map
an ocean map.
Yeah, that's basically a huge ocean map with a bunch of islands scattered throughout.
That sounds nice.
So what you're saying is it's my dream map, and I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Can we? You brought up. I saw that you said there's a cluster. Can we bring our creatures? Is that allowed?
We should be able to once like Nitrato and Wildcard like fix their stuff. But I mean, like, yeah, like everything should work eventually. I mean, it like early days or whatever, and like tons of bugs to iron out, I guess, on their side. So, but I've still been having a lot of fun. There's also like a ship DLC that's like kind of like more like pirate themed or whatever, where you can build big massive ships and stuff with cannons and everything, become a pirate, sail those seas.
Is this it? Tides of Fortune?
That's the ship DLC, yeah. That includes some items that can be used on any of the arcs and all that. And then there's also the first part, the first item, I guess, the Dragontopia DLC dropped as well, which is another paid DLC.
I don't understand. I'm looking at these ships and like naval warfare. Like, so the ships are big. This is Arc.
Yeah.
And you can drive them around, it looks like. But like, do they need wind?
Fire cannons and all that and everything.
Wow. This doesn't sound like the Arc that I know. The Arc that I know. The Arc that I know, right?
This is that game that they tried to make that didn't go anywhere. So that's what this is.
Yeah, it kind of does feel like a retooling of some of the assets from that or whatever.
Then the Dragontopia, where they have like what looks like it's a clear like How to Train Your Dragon reference.
Yeah. Yep. Apparently the dragons are very aggressive. They only released the first creature. They're releasing it in parts. Eventually it'll culminate in the release of a new map as well. That'll be like a sky-based map with like floating islands.
Well, let me ask you this: is there more dangerous, water creatures now as well? Like more things to die.
Oh, I would say yes. Yeah, I would definitely say
because
yes.
that seemed like always what got me. Between that and the crocodiles and really everything where I was, just like every 5 minutes, like, oh well, let's start again.
There's also these cute giant sea turtles whom I love. They're great. It's just I don't know. I've been enjoying it.
And these new dragons are like way better than wyverns, it appears, like in these videos. They're like more agile.
They're way more agile, and they also like they have a different like attack kind of. It's almost like a burst fire kind of thing or whatever.
I just don't, not to sound like so much of a boomer here. Like, are they gonna just be on the maps with everybody else, or are they gonna be on? Like, because my thing with it, one of the things I thought Scorched Earth did well is that it was a really limited dino selection. that made it feel right in it. Like, where are these where are they going to be? How are they going to sit? I don't know. I'm
Apparently
confused.
apparently the dragons spawn in like high altitude areas. So like
Wonderful.
apparently there's some on Valguero or whatever our map is called right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Valgaro,
so
great.
yeah. Yeah. But
Great.
Valguero also has like a wide variety of biomes, so I feel like it fits there.
I
I
want
think
to
Yeah, and
know.
it's big.
Can
It's
can
big
you
for
yeah.
can
sure.
you lasso the sea turtles together, make a raft? You know that thing? Because that'd
Right.
be kind of cool.
That's a great question. Yeah, I don't know yet. Yeah.
Tides of Fortune, we build these? Well, no, you wouldn't want these ships. Here's the thing. The ocean map is kind of like my dream. One of the maps we did not spend a lot of time on was the center, and one of the things I liked about it was like the large island and like the smaller islands area and like how all of that worked. This
Sure.
looks
Yeah.
really cool, but I don't know. I also am not super keen on the idea of like starting over again and then like also maintaining our other base. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. The maintenance I can definitely understand.
Of like, oh, I need to log on to the other server and feed creatures, and I need to
Well, so the way that it's supposed to
put
work with
gas in and
clusters
stuff.
is that you should be able to transfer at obelisks or at even drops as well. So that's kind of neat. But like that has to work first, and apparently Wildcat has had issues getting it to work. I haven't tested it myself, but I've seen people complaining that it's not working correctly yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'll wait. I'll wait. Anyway, that sounds cool though.
Yeah.
Is that what you were playing right before we started? I saw you were playing
Yeah.
Ark. You're liking it that much?
Yeah, I'm already like level like 68 or something like that. Yeah, on my new character.
Oh. Oh my gosh, what?
I don't know if the leveling is a little broken or maybe it's like all the alpha raptors that keep on spawning that I have to kill to save my base, but yeah.
I mean, probably that. Probably that. You have a
Or
base, you didn't just build a boat and explore?
I have a little house. I mean, like it's it's maybe a little bit ambitious for a first house, but I it's cool. I like it. And there's a new tile set too, like new custom like appearance kind of thing that you can apply, which looks really sweet.
awesome, awesome.
And the best part about it is that it's not owned by Microsoft, so I don't
Hey,
have to
so
worry about it.
when's the next time we can see this? You're streaming this next time, right? You're probably doing some Arc on stream next.
Yeah, I'll probably continue streaming Arc for the interim for a little bit.
Nice.
So, before we get to Microsoft though, last week Sony made an announcement that they were going to discontinue
Wait,
games on
discontinue.
discontinue
I'm sorry, we just
games
can't.
funny.
on
I like that.
we have to use that. Okay.
disc starting in 2028. Somehow Microsoft has not been like, this is how you share games on an Xbox and shown two people handing a disc back and forth. Somehow that video hasn't been made yet. I don't know why not. Probably because they're also wanting to do that. But
Yeah, I mean,
what
honestly,
a bad
I haven't
move!
used
What a
them.
bad PR move for them to just say. Why did they say that? You know
Well,
what I
to
mean?
go out and say it, but this is like back in the same thing with like things that are going on in 2010, 2011. Where they're starting to go into the next generation. People don't like to hear like the physical going away, and I get it. I mean, there's still people that love it and all that sort of thing.
I
But
mean, you're one of
I
those
think,
people, Farm.
yeah, I am.
Out
I
of the
am.
three of
But
us, you're the guy who buys physical games.
yeah, but there hasn't been a lot of discs even for a while. I'll even say for certain games, and you can get like you can get the Steelbook or something like that, but they actually won't give you a disc copy. You get a digital. That's what they did for Infinite and several other games. And so this has kind of like been a thing that they've been wanting to do for a while, and it just hasn't been Sony. But I think they're finally like, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to say that we're going to do it, and people don't like it, obviously, for many reasons. But it's interesting.
It is interesting. Well, and I'm someone who I haven't bought a physical game for myself in more than a decade. Right? I've done physical like Nintendo Switch cartridges for my son, but like for
Mhm.
myself, I've not really been buying physical. Well, I've not bought any physical Xbox games. Right? Like since the Xbox One era, I've gone completely digital.
Well, and you
And so
guys
I do
have a
find
lot
it.
of like as far as video libraries, it's pretty much all digital for
Yes,
most of you
yes.
guys, I believe.
But there's a couple of things here. One, I mean, games are just huge now, and I guess I should start
Yeah,
off
we
by
were
saying
just talking about Arc, you know.
I'm not
Yeah.
defending Sony's decision, right? I want to start that out. Like, I think it's a really bad look, and it's really hard. But like already, what's like the max size of like a Blu-ray? Isn't it like 100 gigs or something like that? And games are
No,
bigger than that now.
Blu-rays
Right.
can go, I think, up to at least 4, if not in the compact capacity of like 8, somewhere around there, 4 to 8. But that's not much
Four to
compared to
eight
like
hundred or
yeah,
4 to 8 gigs.
no, 4 to 8 gigs in a disc. Yeah, you don't get more than that, as far as I know. Now and then when you have a game like Arc, how many gigs is that? 200, 250 now? I don't know.
All
You're
right, here
not
we
gonna
go.
fit to
Here we
that.
go. Here we go. A single layer Blu-ray holds 25 gigs. A dual layer
Oh,
Blu-ray holds
hmm.
50. They have a triple layer that holds 100, and then they have a quadruple that's
Well, I guess
128. But
I'm way off.
what is common is the dual layer. The 50 gig is the most common.
Right. I guess I was just using old tech.
DVDs maybe.
'Cause, yeah, I'm probably thinking
DVDs,
DVDs
maybe.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I guess
even
that makes
but
more sense.
even with that, right? Like these games are getting so big. Like we've been using Blu-rays for what, 2 generations, right? Like there's not a new physical medium that's able to hold these discs, or hold these
Well,
games
and
unless they went with like
these
some
games
proprietary thing like Nintendo
since
does.
2010 and on, these games have not really been anything more than like a starter disc kit. You you throw it in there, sure, you start the game, but you still download it, and then you get that first patch update. Like you literally, like you can some of the games you can play initially, and something, yeah, you can, but there's a lot of games that you cannot even play. Like that,
Right.
all
You
the
can't
disc
play it when you
is a
put it in.
code. Basically, it's just for
Yeah.
looks. And again, I like the nostalgic, and I like having it part of my collection. I want to continue to have that, with the whole Halo series and anything like that. But um, you know, this has been going on for a while. It's not like anything new, really. It's just
Well,
that
it's
now they're saying you don't get a case to give your kids, and
right.
that is something. Because,
Well, and people are
everybody
freaking
wants to
out.
open up and see the picture at least. But, they've been going away from the manual inside. Like, there used to be some really
Right.
nice ones, but again, you would just look at it for a little bit and that's it. I'm not saying I'm not defending either side. I'm just saying that's kind of where we've
Writing's been
gone
on the
from,
wall.
Yeah, the
Right. The
writing's been
writing's
on
been
the
on the
wall
wall
for
for
a
a while.
while. Yeah,
No,
and
I agree, but it's also
I hate to see
interesting.
it go, but
Did you know they also announced they were like discontinuing the PS3 store and the Vita store, and also
the
Sony,
digital store?
the digital stores, yeah,
Really? I
like,
mean,
or at
that
least like
that that
on the
kind of stuff doesn't
PS3 and
make
on the
sense to
Vitas
me.
themselves.
If there's still people out there buying that kind of, they did the same thing with the 3DS store,
And
and
the
if there's
360
people,
Yeah.
store,
yeah, and the
technically.
360,
Yeah.
and if there's still people out there, it's literally a digital store.
Well,
I
and
just
an
don't get
interesting
it.
thing with that, they also apparently Sony I saw had lost the digital distribution rights for some movies that people had bought, and they just like removed them from people's libraries.
Like
I
literally,
didn't
like what was it?
And
Like
see, that's
500
always this.
movies or something like that?
500
It was an
movies
insane amount. Yeah, and I
they
mean,
just
not
took
all of
that
them
people paid
great
for.
movies, but yes,
But
that's the worst possible thing they'll
Well,
do with digital
but
media
it's the
like that.
same
Yeah,
company saying it, right? That okay, we're going all
right.
digital.
Yeah,
They also did all of this. I think it was like even the same day.
Well, and
I've
that's
gone
the
all
scare that
digital
they had
movies,
back when they were moving towards digital. Like everybody's like, "Well,
right?
what if this happens?" And then here we are. These things are happening, and
Right.
now
Well,
you
the
don't
thing
have your
is, right,
digital. I
is
mean, your physical medium
your
to like,
stuff, yeah,
yeah.
to rely on. But
Hmm.
I've bought all digital movies and TV and games for the last 10 years between Apple and books between Apple and Microsoft and Nintendo, I suppose. But I'm going to stick with Microsoft and Apple. I have
Hmm.
never lost my ability to access something.
Right.
that I've bought, which is pretty great. Like, I mean, I own a lot of media. Not so I say that. Hold on, let me pull up the actual number here. I say I've done that. I think I own like it's like a hold on. Now it's so much that my thing is taking forever. It's embarrassing. It's an embarrassing amount of media that I own. You know, like oh man, I don't even know. I don't know, more hundreds of movies, right? Like and TV shows and games. I've never lost access. It's something that wasn't even on my radar. And then to hear that like Sony retroactively did that, and then they also did this, I can understand why people are upset.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, Sony's made
Well, the
some.
combination is definitely concerning. Like I mean, even when Xbox did that whole like or Microsoft, I guess, got rid of movies and TV, they still like didn't take away your stuff. You can
Well,
still
yeah,
use
and
that app to
there's
watch your stuff that you purchased on there.
right?
Like,
exactly,
yeah,
and so they've also done that with the delisting of some of their games. You know, like if you had priorly, you know, if you bought it prior to them delisting it, you still have access. So that makes sense to me. But the whole thing with Sony, just like out of the cart, just saying, you know what, we have the right to do this because this was, you know, this was in the contract, you know,
Right.
and
You don't own
no matter
this.
what you say, yeah, you don't own this, and you sign this, all these agreements that people sign, you know, when they're signing up for PlayStation account or whatever. Technically, it's in their bylaws, you know, so they have
Right.
the rights. But just because you have the right doesn't mean you should do that to your community, you know. So
Right.
that is definitely not in their favor, especially with this whole disc. Them coming up with the, you know, them announcing it versus, you know, Xbox or somebody else announcing it. It's not
Right.
good for them, you know.
I thought this was going to be the big story that we talk about, spend the whole time talking about, and you know, of like, oh man, like how much. I just want to bring up before we even go into this next thing that we need to talk about. This has been a crazy year for gaming. You
it really
know,
kind of
like
has. Yeah,
2026 has been an insane year for gaming with like it's just thing after thing and like you know with like Xbox shakeups and then like the Steam machine and everything and with everything with like you know the AI bubble and like oh man now PlayStation you know what is it GTA 6 said it won't go with a disc, right? It's only digital and everyone
right.
was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then like on the heels of that, PlayStation's like, "Actually, y'all don't need to worry about it because none of you guys are going to have discs soon,
Yeah.
right?"
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're like, "Actually, don't even worry about it." It's pretty
Yeah.
wild, you know.
Which I mean, discs make up what, like probably like in 2023 it was like 17% of game sales, and
Yeah,
now it's probably like lower than that. Like I mean,
Yeah, and we've been making for years the shift to digital media, and so they're just finally like, okay, we have enough people that are doing digital and mostly digital, and again, even
right.
the ones who do have the disc are still getting the digital copy, whether
So in
they
other
like
news,
it or not. You know,
y'all should sell your GameStop stock because that company's going to be gone real soon, right? Like
you're not
you know,
wrong.
like that's
Yeah,
that's going to be a thing. Well, and you know, it feels weird to compare discs for like video games to like the newspaper, right? Like you want them to stick around, it does mean something, and even though it costs more money for them to do it that way, like there is something to it. But then also like who really reads a newspaper, right? Who really like and before people, you know what? Actually, if you want to come in angry at the comments, make sure you message me at DIJADI on everything of like that. Oh, but like, what about these people who
except
are using
TikTok.
discs, or what about this? What about this? What about this? And it's just like, yeah, but like realistically, it's not that many people. Like, which I mean, I suppose sure, it's still a large number, but like realistically, it I'm not surprised because they didn't release some kind of new format that they can store games on. You know what I mean?
I
Sure.
still
Yeah.
feel strongly about that. Like again, I know that there's not as much on the percentage, and this is, of course, this is why, you know, the board obviously is making this call. This is why the board's saying we shouldn't do this, because, you know, it doesn't make sense for us to make this effort. But on the physical side, I still think we should transition from, you know, the discs and go away from that and do more like the flash drive. I feel like we're at a place where flash drives aren't that expensive, but I
Why
mean,
not micro SD cards? That's what the Steam Machine and the Steam
micro
Deck and the
SD cards.
Switch
Yeah,
use.
just like a stick, like a memory stick, and they could even partner with GameStop and make it
Wait,
even
hold on.
exclusive over there.
Farm. Are you saying that the company that like had like you remember those like PS2 memory cards? You're saying we should go back to memory cards? Yes.
That's kind of what it
in
sounds
a way,
like.
in a way, like memory sticks are like. I mean, I like what the Switch does, with the whole
Yeah, me
SDs,
too.
and again, it's more nostalgic, more like of a niche audience, but I think they could capitalize on it, and instead of like going away completely, they make a point to like partner with GameStop and like certain games and like make it make sense in the physical part of gaming, I think it'd be great. Like you could go tie it to Halo, like the whole Cortana, chip in the back
Yeah,
of
like
Master
yeah.
Chief or anything like that, and just like have some way of like tying it and bring it again back to the physical, because it doing all digital, I think for most people works, but like there's still a lot of people that like to get out there, do the cosplay, go do the late night releases and stuff like that. And I think
Right.
we don't need to go completely away from all that stuff.
We can still do it. You can just get a plastic case with nothing in it. You don't need that. And it's hard because I just think of like how much does it's not even just the game itself, right? Like they have to design the box. Like that sounds so dumb, but somebody does that, right? They design the box, they have to make the cases and order them. They have to print the discs, right? All of this adds up to cost.
But come
they could
on, we
also
got
just
AI
put it
to do that
digitally.
for us now.
But it still costs. It still
I
costs,
know.
right? And they could just cut it, right? Why not? And also, I want to before we get too far from it, in Halo Campaign Evolved. Speaking of Master Chief,
Oh my goodness.
I think we should start with the good news first. I think the good news is that the couple studios mentioned by name is the studios mentioned by name are going to independent ownership. They're not just being shut down, right? Sure, they're losing a lot of funding and all that
good.
stuff, but they're not just getting
quote,
closed.
unquote.
They are being set loose in a
They
positive
were able
way.
to negotiate for independence. Yeah.
Right. And
I
these
think
these studios are what? Double Fine, right?
it was is one of them Ninja something? I don't
Compulsion
remember.
Games and Double Fine Return.
Compulsion Games and Double Fine are both becoming independent.
So those are the ones that are going to maintain, while you've got
Ninja Theory and Undead Labs are in the process
negotiations,
of
I think.
Yeah, they'll be looking for funding.
Of
They'll
being
be going
sold
out and trying to
because they have games in progress, which is crazy to like
well,
to
yeah, like them to be
divest yourself
standing.
of two studios that like.
But hold on, there's one more.
And Hellblade.
There's one more
really
thing of good news.
Too.
There's one more thing of good news. I was really happy to see that specifically. Do you have the number of how many people got laid off even just today? Wasn't it like 1,600 people or something like that?
1,200.
Yeah, and like starting today, and then they like are going to continue to restructure.
Layoffs that happened today.
I saw specifically that
up to 3,200.
Bethesda took a really big hit in those layoffs, and I think
it was spread out.
That's the other good
spread
news.
Out amongst all the different companies, really, when it came down to it.
But Bethesda specifically even posted about it.
They got hit as hard as 343 apparently.
And I just want to say that that's not a good news for anybody.
So I want to point out. I want to point out that David is ruining my good news. That actually,
it's not really great news at all.
It's great news.
It's only because
you weren't here. I was a Bethesda.
I heard. I get the after
just
story.
Like, no, dude, Bethesda should just freaking shut down. So keep it up, Asha. I've got a couple studios I would recommend you close, and you'd save a ton of money.
Just insane to say. Just insane.
Yeah.
But anyway, Dean, you want to cover what actually happened? What was actually announced?
One thing real quick, I'd like to say, like, the fact that, like, going back to what we were talking about, Ninja Theory, the fact that they have this almost, the game that they showcased, last month, and that they're feel like they're standing on solid ground, and then that like the carpet was like pulled out from under them, like, and they're in the progress of developing it. That just blows my mind. Like, that game
Well,
looks
and
good.
to a lesser extent, like, I mean, I guess just because they haven't shown as much of it, but State of Decay 3 was also the most ambitious title that Undead Labs has ever worked on, right? The biggest and like the most intensive like project that they've ever done. And
And they've
so
been
same thing for them too. And they've
yeah,
been
how long have they
chugging
been
along on that
developing
for
that?
like what, like 5 years, I think,
Yeah,
something
I
like
think
that.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so they were probably close to the finish line at least,
They say that it will come out, But if it
Exactly.
comes to Steam or PlayStation, that's probably where I'll buy it when it comes down to it. Same with Senwa.
Wow.
Yeah.
And on
Dave is
PlayStation, D,
getting jaded a little bit against
you know what you're
Xbox.
not
This is
getting on
crazy.
PlayStation? You're not
Discs.
getting
Yeah.
a disc.
True. Yeah. But I mean, like, hey,
And
these companies having lost like their like sponsor essentially, like, I mean, like, apparently like Microsoft is doing some funding for some of the stuff, but it's unclear exactly how much. But like with the reduction in funding and the not having the like full support of Microsoft anymore, they probably couldn't afford discs anyway. So
there you go. But I would say you should do Steam because PlayStation just doesn't make sense, D. With
yeah,
like
no, you're right.
seeing how
Steam
they are
would
with
probably
digital
make,
stuff,
yeah.
I
And then
wouldn't feel
especially
safe with that either.
and then especially with like, like the next Xbox allegedly, and like, computers continuing to be a thing. Like, I mean, like, all having Steam, like, why not at that point?
Right.
Or if the
You know
Steam
what I'm
machine
hearing?
comes down in price,
You
I
know what
mean,
I'm
like,
hearing,
maybe
Farmer?
that.
Remember how D said like he wouldn't even get a Steam machine if someone gave it to him, he wouldn't take it. You know what I'm hearing right now? Do you hear it? Do you hear it, Farm? Do you hear him being like, "Yeah,
I
I
think
guess
it's
I'm just
just,
getting a Steam
the shock
machine"?
of the day. It was just gotta, give it a day or two. Well,
No,
I'm
because
sh-
this isn't really a shock. This was expected. This was
yeah.
pretty much what was rumored. Like, I mean, like, I've had time to sit with this for like 2 weeks now. Like, I
One
mean,
of the things
yeah.
that Asha said in the restructuring was that they were going through 14 levels of management for certain things, and like that needed to be brought down, and they're bringing it down to 5 or up, or like
3 to
even down to
5.
3
Yeah.
if possible. Of course of course there's like an insane bloat in the company if you're going through 14 levels of management for
Sure,
stuff.
but it's not 14 vertical layers. Like, people get that confused. Like, there's certain like ways that like companies are organized where essentially, since each studio kind of had a level of autonomy, I'm willing to bet that like some of the structures involved their own autonomy first, and then going through Microsoft at, like, after like getting to a certain point of their own
Sure, it may
like
not all be vertical, but it's
tiers.
still
Yeah.
too much.
I
Right.
Especially
don't
when you're
Well,
disagree.
talking
and
I
about
it's
mean,
like,
money.
yeah.
well, this kind of comes right on track because Microsoft has stepped in, so much in the last few years versus where Xbox, was actually maintaining. So let's say if it was just Xbox and maintaining their ship, it was probably half that. But then you got Microsoft, then what they've been doing for the last few years, and like pretty much, we're seeing Phil Spencer tied in a lot of situations. Like he did a lot of different things that he was kind of able to do, but you could tell that he was being pushed in a certain direction. And obviously, what happened ultimately towards this year, where he wasn't even able to finish out this year, which still kind of blows my mind. And the fact that all this is, happening is just like you can see the swift hand of Microsoft, in everything, and they're just wanting to gut and start over.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what she said, right? We need to reset Xbox. And that's
Yeah.
what it is. Like doing a reset. But I mean, that being said, as I guess that I don't have like a patron who is funding all of my stuff, but like for game studios running a business, it's really like I don't know, like I can understand being upset and being frustrated and all that stuff, but there is also this thing of like, but if you guys aren't like making money and you're spending a lot of money and you're getting that money from someone else, like surely you can't expect that that's going to go on forever. You know what I mean? Like if you don't deliver something, surely you can't expect that like, oh, like this situation where we have like a sugar daddy company is going to just continue. You know what I mean?
I mean, sure, but nothing happens in a vacuum either. Like, I mean, like, I feel like when you have a studio, like for instance, man, I'm blanking now.
Ninja Theory. You're talking about Ninja Theory?
No,
So in the
Double
new
Fine.
Halo
Double
game,
Fine.
in the new
It-
Halo
it-
game, you don't swipe the chip by putting it. Sorry, go ahead.
oh my gosh. If you have a studio like Double Fine, like the games that they make are probably never going to get mass appeal, right? Like that's just not like what they're at all built to make, and that's not what
Mhm.
they want to make. And if they're, but what they do is very unique, right? It's very distinctive. It has a certain flavor that you don't see anywhere else, and I think that helps build the brand if you have that as part of a larger like uh
Right.
variety of like
You could
things
say,
available.
yeah.
But
I
I mean,
mean,
like to your point, like you're not wrong that like in a normal like in a vacuum or by themselves they would not be able to like exist that way. But the idea was under Phil's mentor that devs could make what they want to make or whatever and be subsidized by the things that made money, like the Call of Duties and all that. And when we're going back to essentially what it seems like Asha's saying in her statement is that we're going to focus mainly on Minecraft, Candy Crush, Call of Duty.
Yes, those were
Like I mean,
brought
like
up
those,
specifically.
yeah.
Those were brought up
well,
specifically.
Like I mean,
and
like
we can see what she's saying, that she wants to reach an outrageous amount of people. Like
a
it's
billion
almost
people, literally.
it's
Yeah,
almost, it's so unrealistic. But to to factor it all, I mean, really, what they want is games only that make money,
you want
and
mass appeal, which I
yeah,
mean,
mass
like
appeal.
is
But it makes sense. But at the same time, like, there's something to be said. Like, I'm right there with you. Like, you can have those games. You can have those games that have mass appeal, but you need to have something else that, flavors out the rest of the brand. And I'm just interested to see how this works out with them going all in one direction, and see how they can meet that goal, because it just seems outrageous in my mind, that
like
you
there's
think you can
also
get a
like
billion
to the
players
point of
every
like
day.
even I don't know how true this is, but like there's rumors that like there was a Call of Duty standalone multiplayer game that just got canceled too. With all of
I
this,
wouldn't
like they're
doubt it.
canceling Halo. I mean, like it's if that's true. Like I mean, like that's kind of wild. But also, like Halo Infinite probably didn't make a ton of money. When it comes down to it,
And if they're
like
looking at only the studios that make a certain percentage,
right.
again, they're looking at the business side. They're looking at what Xbox as a brand making killer money, like making a difference, making an impact across the board, losing its identity. That's what I see. Losing
But
its
then, like,
identity for
also,
sure.
like, part of the discussion that we always talk offline about, but we don't necessarily always remember to bring up, like, on this podcast, is that, like, also the budget of these games has ballooned to astronomical numbers.
That's
Right,
true.
right.
Like, I mean, like, how are you supposed to make, X amount of money back when you're, like, putting, like, so many millions of dollars into development,
I
or
read
even
about
marketing or
Gears
whatever and all
today.
that?
I think they said they're like in almost half a billion, which is crazy.
I mean, yeah.
Like,
Right. And then it
that's
doesn't
crazy.
even matter if the game sells a lot of copies because then you even just break even,
Well, and
right? Like you
even
Well,
don't
if
even
you're
really
again,
make money.
profitable,
you'd have to have about a billion people playing your game to, to justify having a half billion invested. So yeah.
but then
So
the problem is too, like even if you're profitable, are you profitable enough to satisfy Microsoft at this point in time where they're bleeding money in a lot of other areas? Like that's the real question. Because like the rumor was like around this time last year that like the CFO of Microsoft was demanding like a 30% profit. So I mean like and that might still be true. We don't know. Like I mean
it
in terms
probably
of
is,
that.
and that's
Like
But
why.
I wanna roll
yeah.
back a little bit because we also talked about Candy Crush and
Yeah.
how she said she wants like she specifically even dropped the number a billion, right? Of like
Right.
a billion
Yeah.
Right.
people using Xbox. If you think of Candy Crush as part of the Xbox branding, I mean, there's got to be at least like what? There's like 8 billion people on the planet now, or is it 7 billion people on the planet?
Yeah, it's
Half of those people,
8.3 or something like that.
8.3. So an easy 4 billion people use cell phones, right? Candy Crush
Yeah.
is a cell phone game,
Mhm.
right? And it's free to play. And so like I actually think that's really within reach. Easy,
I mean,
right? Oh,
I think, when it comes to like, yeah, if you can
in
market
that
it
sense.
to everybody in their, in their handheld device, because there is like 3 to 4 on average per household, per family,
But
easy.
you also hit the nail on the head for it. What I wanted to bring up is like I am also for subsidizing the art house film video game, right? Of
Right.
like this is not going to have mass appeal, but it has a thing. But like it's just really difficult when I think about the idea of like right, but like do they have a budget? Do they stick to the budget? Like if it's really hard. Like for example, for me, here's a great example. I know another producer who is having money problem. He had a car problem, so he's offering to transcribe songs to try to raise money to fix his car. So I gave him 10 tracks to transcribe for me so that I can make covers of these songs to put on Spotify. I gave him 10 Spyro songs, and they're songs that I really wanted to do, but I didn't want to transcribe them because it's hard, right?
Right.
I have spent already $140 on these transcriptions. This is going to be between two projects. So already I'm $140 in the hole. This doesn't include like revenue splitting with people. This doesn't include the hours it's going to take for me to actually make the tracks once he gives me these things. If I want to do any marketing budget or anything, there is no way that this album is going to make money. Right? That's it. Like
Yeah.
period. Like
Yeah.
I have two projects here that are coming that I really want to do. I'm passionate about. I'm excited about. Like it would be crazy to me if they actually broke a profit within the first couple years, right? Um, that being said, I am also working on another project right now that is purely for the money. I know it's going to be successful. I'm collaborating with like a successful artist bigger than me. It's a popular IP. This one's for the money, right? But I wouldn't be able to do a lot of these art house projects that way, right? And especially like if the budget keeps going up, if I just keep deciding to add more and more money into it, at some point it's just got to be cut. And I don't know what's going on beyond this behind the scenes with these studios, but I guess coming
Well,
back to it again of like these budgets
yeah.
and it's also hard because a lot of these budgets to point out what is the thing that's super expensive is payroll, right? Paying people who are working on the project is a big part of that, and people should be paid, but like it's just crazy, man. And I mean, it's also crazy that all of these people who say they want to work in video games, I even have said I wanted to do composing in video games. I mean, do you really want to, especially after this
Right.
year? Like,
It's
Yeah.
kind of bleak.
Well, and it's
yeah,
crazy too, because like each previous year we've gone, man, this year was so terrible for video games, and this has been the case since like 3-4 years ago or whatever, when
Yeah,
yeah,
like the
there's a lot of
post-COVID
games out there, but yeah, there's a lot of
stabilization has happened. Yeah.
there's a lot of games that we've that are coming out, but there's still I think there's even more that aren't coming out or that have been canceled. And back kind of to your point, Johnny, like you were talking about, I think again what we've seen Xbox do here by acquiring all these studios. I mean, this is probably back to the whole budgeting side of things. This is probably what's happening. They filled in all these gaps to kind of meet a certain criteria that they were trying to do, but in the mix, they're
right.
they're paying out more than they're actually making a profit because of these other smaller studios to kind of like give you that extra flavor. And again, so if this is a restructuring where they can, okay, let's make sure we make big on the ones that we're trying to shoot for, and then maybe they can bring it back in, maybe not as many, but then at least
It'll never be as
restructure.
many again.
Yeah, never to be as
Yeah.
many, but at least bring it back in. And I guess that's my hope. Looking at the big picture, that's the best thing we can hope for is like, okay, let's get this restructure, and then they can do it and do it efficiently versus
Right.
you're doing it in a way that they're never making money. They're just
The
always
problem
breaking
is,
even.
I think that when you get into a spending money mentality, that it's really hard to get out of that. And then when you make more money, you immediately want to spend it, right? And I think that that's the problem with like Satya Nadella being at the head of Microsoft, because I think he has that spending mentality. where like he'll continue to like use every single dollar of profit that he can to spend in investments, and it'll never be enough because he'll constantly be chasing, right?
Right.
And so like I mean like
Well,
I think
but
that
if he
like
has
when
certain
it comes down
targets,
to
though,
it,
you know.
I think I think those targets will change. I don't think they'll remain constant. If Microsoft, if Xbox for instance like achieves like 20% or 30% profitability, their goalposts will probably be moved up higher. Like we see this in the corporate world all over the place. Like I work for a company that just got acquired by a conglomerate of like of private equity firm, and like I mean like the amount of changes that are being done just to maximize profit are kind of crazy. But I mean like that's what companies are doing right now because they're, you know, trying to maximize profit. And
Right. And again, like to your point, David, it's like, okay, so the guy up top, you know, they're reinvesting, they're making the money, they're, you know, it's the guy at the bottom, you know, that's suffering and continues to suffer. And these smaller studios, you know, we're in the mix right now, are the ones going to be suffering. And yeah, I don't like it.
I
I
think
just, the only thing I can hope for is that because she is CEO of Xbox, the only thing that we can kind of hope that maybe she can do, and I don't know if she can or not, and maybe she's not even looking to do that because, you know, she is coming from Microsoft. But if she can somehow maintain the balance, hold up and stand up on her own 2 feet and say, no, we said this, we're going to stick to this, and then still be for the gamers. Again, that's a whole lot to ask for somebody just coming in new to the scene. I'm not saying that she can. I'm not saying that she can't. I have to wait and see.
And I mean, I think that like on the other hand, like I don't think I like I mean, it's pretty clear by this point that Phil was kind of forced out because he didn't want to do this, right? Um, which I think that like if you're in a position where you have to make tough decisions like this, like I'm not like saying that this isn't a tough decision. This might have even been a necessary one, right? For
Right.
Xbox to survive. I just don't necessarily like I don't see it as a positive like in the short term or long term for Xbox. Like it might allow Xbox to survive, but I mean like
Yeah, it doesn't help the brand, you know, at this point, anyways, and it
yeah.
makes it look just more bleak. And I'm right there with you. I think Phil was like, "This is where I leave," because
And I think there's a
we've done so much the last years
yeah.
to build up all these studios and acquire these studios, and now I have to do what? I'm not going to be part of that, you know.
Right.
And
And
I
I like
respect
that's
that.
conjecture, but I mean like it does seem like Phil really, really cared about Xbox. And I think there's a level of investment that you can get to where you just kind of like can't make hard decisions, right? Almost like being like, you know, in a like toxic relationship that you can't leave, you know?
Well,
Um
I could bring guitars into this, and I'd be like, I don't. If I had to get rid of one guitar, no, I couldn't do it. Somebody else could choose for me, I'm sure, but I couldn't. I couldn't choose, you know, because I use them all accordingly, you know.
but yeah. I mean like
I yeah.
yeah. Go ahead, Johnny.
Well, I was just gonna say that it's the Xbox of Theseus that we were talking about, right? Like
Right.
as things keep getting taken away, is it even the Bungie of Theseus, right? Is it even the same thing anymore? But it's not just X. I mean, living here in Japan,
That's the thing too.
man,
Yeah, that's true
this
too.
sounds crazy to say, but like living here in Japan, I'm like, what Xbox branding? What?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
there's in the gaming sections of like every store, there's like nothing Xbox, and if there is anything Xbox, there's like Xbox One games, a couple of Xbox One games somewhere, but there's nothing, you know. Like what Xbox branding? People don't know so much about it, right? Or like the Microsoft Xbox characters, people aren't aware of it. And I know that I also live in like a really specific area, sure, and but they've been on the back foot for so long. I
Right.
can I really see why, but like you said, I mean it's well, I guess going back, I don't know that it's going to be enough of a blip. I think that a lot of gamers like what Asha's doing, and they're like, well, it's necessary. I think that's going to
The
be the
general
feeling of
consensus
people.
the general consensus seems to be pretty negative towards Asha right now. Like there's a
Oh,
few
really?
people like saying that it's like that it must have been like the only possible choice, or like, oh well, thank goodness no studios were shuttered. But I mean, like, like the general consensus is like not positive towards Xbox overall. But I mean, like,
that's today. Like before that, I feel like most everybody's been on her side about the calls
yeah,
that she's
sure,
made.
yeah,
Yeah,
But like, yeah,
in
today I
general,
would say,
people have like
yeah,
that. But like, also to be honest, I've been an Xbox gamer for like 10 years, more than 10 years. I haven't been excited, even with Phil Spencer in charge. I haven't been
sure.
excited for the future of Xbox. I haven't been very interested in Xbox and like the stuff that they have. You
I
know what
think
I
a lot
mean?
of
So
what
like,
I
so
feel
there
like
is
a
that
lot of
too.
what I feel like what a lot of Phil was doing was like essentially laying foundations and like a slow build, like, like preparing for like the future. And that, like, I mean, kind of almost like a president only has 4 years to like enact their agenda. I mean, like, it just wasn't enough time to like really
Or
see
it's
like
One
all
Piece
the
season
fruit.
two.
Yeah,
Like the live action One Piece season two, I liked it. Sure, nothing really happened in it. It
sure.
really, a couple of small things happened, but clearly it's building blocks for season three, right? There's going
Right.
to be more happening in season three. Yeah, but the problem is if nobody likes and watches season two because nothing happens, then there is no
Then
season
there
three,
is no season 3. Yeah. And
right?
that's
And
essentially
so,
what happened, right? Like, I
like,
mean,
yeah,
like,
these
granted, more
cool
for money
building
one,
blocks,
but
but well,
yeah,
yeah, but I mean, but that's, I mean, in the end, that's always
yeah,
the thing. It's because of
right,
money, right? Because like whoever's bankrolling, it's like, no, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think
yeah.
it's worth, like, we didn't get the return on investment we expected. That's the one that upsets me the most. It's like, well, we didn't get what we expected. And it's like, okay, well, what did you expect? Right?
Right.
Like, and there's all of that. But I it is sad that people are losing their jobs, but I am hopeful that, I don't know, the financial aspect of it to me just makes a lot of sense, and even though it's painful, it is what it is, right? Like,
And I
well,
mean,
and
it's
even
not
in
like
that,
this is unique to Xbox either. Like, this is
right,
happening all
yeah,
over the
yeah.
place.
PlayStation's
Like
doing it's happening all over.
Bungie, yeah. I mean, like, yeah,
Well,
Well,
and
and I even
hopefully with
think
the
of, like you said,
restructure,
Farm,
like
it's,
even balance it all, and bring some of
I
those
don't even
people back in the
think
fold too.
that these smaller indie games are what's costing a lot of money. I think it's more just of the, like, we know this project isn't going to make money, right?
yep. No, I
And so,
think
like,
that's
even
it.
in my
Like, literally,
example,
like, yeah,
why am I going to
it's not
release
even
this album even though I know it's not going to make money is because I'm passionate about it and I care
Hmm.
about it and I want to take the hit for it because it's something I care about, right?
right.
But if I
And I
had an
don't think there's,
investor
yeah,
and I was like,
exactly, yeah,
hey, do you want to invest a bunch of money that you're not going to make back on this project that I'm passionate about? Like, that's a pretty hard sell, you know? The But we'll see. I am happy that they're being spun off as independent. I am happy about that the studios they mentioned, like, that
as
would,
opposed to
I
Shuttered.
would
Yes, that's
I
definitely
would rather see
preferable.
that than see them get shuttered, right? Like,
Yeah,
of, hey, give them a fighting chance, let them get out there and try and find investment, and let them make those hard decisions, right? Of like, okay, well, like, do we need to downsize? Do we need to do this? What are we going to do? Like, let them make that decision and not just like let that be handed down to them, for sure. But
yeah.
it's been a hard year for gaming. You kind of have, I agree. We have kind of said that the last few years, but it's really been, honestly, the last week has been a hard week for gaming. Like, it's pretty wild. It's a pretty wild future. I wonder, um, video games, I'm sure you guys remember, like, almost went away, right, in the 80s. And, like, not to sound super gloomy, but I mean, Nintendo survived, right? And then, like, PlayStation came along, and then Xbox came along, and of course PC gaming and such. Sure, right. But, oh, hello.
Hello?
I'm still here.
Okay, this just got really quiet, and I'm like, did I just
Oh,
disconnect? The thing
No,
that
no, you're
normally
here.
shows me my connection is showing no green or anything. It's just no colors.
Weird.
I'm shocked. But
Yeah, we were just
with
listening
with
intently, and then all of a sudden, like, what?
no, but with going back to Nintendo survived this, right? Like, I think of like Atari and
yeah.
Sega and such. Nintendo survives, and then PlayStation and Xbox come along. But I'm like, are we going back to that? Like, honestly, like, is there a future where like PC gaming and Nintendo like weather this because they seem to be the most likely to, and like, is Xbox and PlayStation going to be able to like pull out of this nosedive that they've been on for the last few years? Like let's like really take a step back, right?
Good question.
Because that's a really weird thought,
Yeah.
right? It's a weird thought to think about. Like, but PlayStation and Xbox have come around in our lifetimes. Like they're not, it's not the post office or something. Like not Nintendo though. Right? I mean, Nintendo was founded as a toy company like forever ago. Like, was it over 100 years ago? But I just really wonder. I really wonder. Yeah, Nintendo was founded in 1889. Jeez. I hope not. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, I hope not
I'm
too.
older.
I mean, like I like in general, I like where gaming is at, with the exception of like obviously like the bloatedness of it,
Right.
But
Right.
I mean,
yeah, how can we have these awesome games and then like gaming's at this? I mean, guys, I'm playing Expedition 33 and it's so good. It's
really is,
so
yeah.
good. I'm playing it right now and it's just like, man, like this is an incredible experience,
You know what's
Yeah.
frustrating to me?
Is
That
in the new Halo game to put Cortana in, he doesn't put it in his helmet, but he
Oh my
swipes it
gosh,
between the mouse and
no!
cheeks.
the
that the
fact
frustrating
that well it was something about Halo. It has nothing to do with that because I
Oh.
wouldn't disrespect Halo like that.
Neither would I. Paramount would though. Paramount would, but I wouldn't.
But the fact
Paramount will
that
disrespect
there is
everything
not
nowadays.
enough collector's editions for all of us, like I literally will try to get it that day, and it was all sold out, and it's been sold out,
Well,
and it's not come back in stock, and
sure.
they're selling them for like $1,000 on eBay.
That's the problem, though. That's the problem is that
Yeah.
now, since so many people, like I just read a jobs report where like I think it was like 250,000 people aren't even seeking employment anymore. They dropped out of the job market when it comes down to it. Like, I mean, like a lot of people are trying to make money in alternative ways, right? Via
Like
job
scalping?
shipping
do it.
or like
That's
scalping
get
or
something like
like
this.
reselling.
I mean,
Yeah,
you make
like,
a
I
lot
mean,
of
like,
money if you can make
yeah.
50% profit on something that you didn't even do except ship it out. That's pretty good. I'm just saying.
Like,
Okay.
I mean, it like something that's in high demand. If you can like grab them all and then like sell them at a markup of like 100% or whatever, then you literally made double the money back. If you
Yeah,
can match
for
the
not
market
even
prices, like I mean,
it's not
like
even
even
your own
higher.
product.
Like I mean,
That's
yeah,
the crazy thing. You're
like I
not
mean, like
producing it.
Pokemon
You're
cards,
just
like are really hard to get a hold of now because like people are
Right.
like going into stores and like buying them all before like the actual fans can get their hands on them. Like,
yeah.
Right.
or like those like Nitos things or whatever are pretty hot too right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're
I
like
don't know
these
what you're talking
squishy
about.
toys. Yeah.
Well, but how much do you think? Let's bring it back around. I'm sure this factors into PlayStation's decision to stop with discs as well. It's got to be a factor of like other people making money on our own products, and it's a Japanese company. They're like, no, we don't want. Let's just like close this loop if we can.
Sure. Well,
like,
and also like why have like entire factories dedicated to this like medium that like is honestly kind of dying, I mean, like,
but you don't have to say honestly, it's totally dying. I know there's a whole movement to like save physical games and stuff like that. I hate to say this to you guys, it's not enough, right? Listen,
yeah.
I'm sitting here with the two people who own Zunes. Okay, it's not enough.
Yeah,
True.
Not enough to save it.
And I think mine stopped working. Finally, it was sad. And I'm looking right here at a disc like the Halo Collector's Edition. It came with all the things that we've been talking about. It had a disc. It had the steelbook. It had all these collectible things that you'd want for anybody who wants tangible physical items. And yeah, I'm not gonna get it because it's out. It's sad, and there's not enough because the supply and demand. Again, what we talked about as far as scalpers, but also with just the fact that they're not going to produce as much because they know the sales for the physical isn't going to be as high as it once was.
Dude, people scalp detergent now. Like, I mean, that's how crazy it's getting. Like, I mean, like people literally buy detergent in bulk, buy out the shelves when it's on sale, and then resell it on Facebook Marketplace as like a higher like amount.
But what
Like,
I
this is a
don't
Wow.
very
understand,
like common, frequent thing now. Like,
what
it's
I
just
don't
like reselling
understand
is a huge market.
is like in the book market, right? So like the normal paperback, like the $10 paperback, they like have discontinued it, like printing it because only like a handful of printers did it. But like
Right.
nice leather bound books or like hardcovers are actually up in sales because people are buying them as collector items, right? And like to have in their house. Why don't they go that route with games? And it's just like, why? Like, someone needs to get us into these meeting rooms, right? Because it's like, hey, we're gonna just tell everybody we're stop doing physical games. No, 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 no. Don't say that. Don't say that. What you should announce is physical is gonna be premium, right? Oh my
Sure.
gosh, what is this?
Do you
Is
see
this in
this?
dollars? Is this
I
dollars?
I just saw this and I just can't believe. It's-
Farmer sent me. Is this dollars? It's dollars. A
I think
$5
so,
million
but it
dollar
just can't be real,
brand
right?
$5
new
million.
Nobody's gonna
gold
nobody.
Nintendo
Yeah.
64.
333 people are watching this. Is it gonna go on like auction? I
Does
see it's
that
on
does
eBay.
that include
Yeah,
does that include the
yeah.
three of us who are looking at it right now?
It says it's in 20 carts. Like, yeah, whatever. Like, but
The
that I just saw that and it just happened to pop up. And I'm like, that's just ridiculous.
But why not have it be that way? Like I mean that's kind of what Nintendo's doing, right? Like $10 cheaper for the digital version, and if you want a physical copy, you pay $10 more. Or like,
I would like
go
something
with
like
the
that where
like
we could be say like the people who want it can order it. You get limit to one, and so then we
right.
actually get those people, the fans actually get what they would like, versus like, oh, we're only gonna
Man,
have this
Farm,
so
you're
many.
describing Nintendo to a T. So
I know, but they are niche in a good way, and I think
to buy an international Switch here, you need to have a Nintendo account that has at least 50 hours of playtime. They only allow one account or one per account to be bought in Japan.
and
Right.
because
That's
Like
right.
because they're fighting
to
all
stop
these
scalping, D.
scalpers. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. To stop
And
scalping,
they
to
have
stop
to.
them from
Yeah.
buying it here and
Yeah.
then selling it somewhere else for more money. So like I had to sign in and do all of this stuff and do all of that, but I was able to get the thing I wanted. That's important. I was able to buy it, right? Because of it.
Yep.
But
And
also
I
how
mean
like how many like different like things can you add on to like cause people to go through like to prevent scalpers, because scalpers usually eventually overcome those
yeah,
obstacles.
they'll find the
Like
ways,
I
but you know, at least they're trying. Like there's a balance because you don't want to deter the customer completely because if it's too many steps, then you're not going to do it. But then
well,
on the other
exactly, yeah.
alternative, you don't want to have the fence too high, or then, you know, then guess what? Everybody and their brothers, scalping you.
Well,
So,
like, so there's
oof,
this beautiful purple tree in Ark by my main base, right? And I built a fence that was too high, like 2 fence posts high, to keep the Rexes from like knocking over the tree. Because 2 fences high is usually enough to stop a Rex. It was not in that case. So I had to build it 3 high. That still wasn't enough. I had to build it 4 high. And still they were somehow like for a little while at least getting through, and then they stopped. But I mean, like, um, eventually you're just going to reach a point where it's not worth building a fence anymore. Like, I mean,
Right.
exactly. And then again, if there has to be that much overhead to maintain, I mean, I'm sure that's why these, I'm sure Sony's just like, you know what, we're not even going to worry about it anymore. Think about all that they have to plan for to make these physical things happen, especially if it's like specialty limited edition statue, specialty digital art book, specialty whatever. That's a lot of time and effort. That's a lot of people doing, you know, coming up with things, writing things, artists drawing things. I mean, they're which I hate it because I love the art of it all. It's unique, it's special, but they're cutting all that out, and then they don't have all that overhead. You don't have to plan all that stuff. It's just digital. Here you go. This is the game exactly the way we said we were going to make it, and we're just sending it straight to you because, we're just not going to worry about it because what's 15%, or even less of our population. So, I mean, I get it, but I also, yeah, I love something about a collector's edition, especially when it comes to like Halo. Halo Collector's Edition's been a staple, and I've been getting them for years, and I can't get this one. You know, it's driving me nuts.
Yeah.
That's the future. You're not going to get them in
future. Yep, that's the future of gaming.
You're not going to own anything. That's the future.
you don't own anything anyways. It's all digital and said it can be redacted, you know.
Everything will be discontinued.
Oh man.
That's the title.
That's perfect.
Right? That's the title. Everything will be
discontinued. Discontinued. Exactly.
All right. Well, on that note, I hope you guys have a good week. I don't know. And keep your discs
You
close.
Don't know? Okay.
I don't know. Keep your disc close, guys.
Play Arc.
Play Arc, not on disc. Fun fact. Not on.
Sure.
Hey,
Fun fact,
on another note, if you want to play disc, you know, you can play plenty of disc golf that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But there's
True.
You can get all the discs you want.
All right. Bye. Get out of here, Craig.